Hello, fellow traders. Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you Tuesday, May the 24th. The year's 2022. Let's talk trading. Risk, part 14 with Walmal. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine and different from Walmal's. Walmal, I got a question about the exit playbook, and the person was asking, some about where do you do this or why do you do that? And I guess, the answer is that the exit playbook that, I present, that's kind of a template that you have to, refine or modify to fit, your trading style, the instrument you're trading, your temperament, and a whole lot of different things. So it's not an easy question to give a an answer to, because as we've mentioned, what works for one trader might not work for another trader.
You're exactly right. I look at your exit playbook from maybe a little bit different perspective than what your original intent was for it. I'm not sure, but the way I look at it was more of training wheels. And what I mean by that is this: if you know that you've got a problem that for some reason you don't exit when you should exit, on, let's say it's going against you and you're not exiting properly, what this tool will do for you is make a glaringly apparent to you, not appropriate, but apparent to you that, hey, dummy, get out. Okay, it's time to get out. Cut your losses. Get out, And that's going to be different than for every trader because, with me, I'm doing, lately I'm doing mostly smashing grabs. All I'm trying to do is pick up 1, 2, 3 pips, sometimes 4 if I get lucky. Therefore, my exit strategy is going to be a whole lot different than the guy who's coming along and he's, doing a swing trade or, and, his exit may occur 40 pips away from where he entered on a stop, whereas mine are, 2, 3, 4 pips away, something like that, maybe 5 pips away, depending on the type of trade it is. But, so it's going to be, you're going to have to tailor it. And here's the great thing about your tool, and the thing is that I know new traders don't look at this as a good thing. They really don't, and you can count me in that category when I was first learning to trade, and that is this: the tool is highly configurable for who you are and what you're trying to accomplish. The tool is not meant to be, one of these, things that these guys out there sell for $39.99. You can become rich overnight too. It's not meant for that. It's not a tool to make, to go and say, this is where you enter and this is where you exit. No, the tool is meant to go and be wrapped around whatever your method and your way of trading is. Am I wrong with that assessment?
Well, the tool is basically for the exit side of the trade, because I've got, what did I count? I don't know, 7 different methods. I forget that I've put out there. All but I think 1 or 2 might are based around trading at horizontal lines. So it's like, yeah, okay, we see this. This is where we enter. Okay, but where do you exit? And it's from a money management uh, type of standpoint. It's like, hey, if I'm down this far, I think it's time to exit no matter what entry method I used. Because I could
Okay.
do a rat trade, I could do a buy zone trade, I could do a wick zone trade, etc. Fading the pivot. It doesn't matter, you know, why I got in the trade. What matters is, hey, this trade's now 5 pips against me. Do I need to, should I be getting out? It's now 7 pips? What's my exit playbook tell me to do? And the other part about the exit playbook is it takes the thinking. You've already thought it through. So all you have to do is follow the playbook. You don't have to come up and think, put that extra strain on your brain. What do I do? What do I do? It's like, no, you follow the exit playbook. You either
Right.
enter with or exit with the profit, or you exit with the loss. And it tells you pretty much, when to do it. And you have it where you can say, okay, if it's a normal market, this is what I do. If it's a fast move, if the market's moving really fast, this is what I do. So, for example, if the market's moving really fast, like it did, what, about 6 hours ago or so, when it dropped like a rock, um, your exit playbook might have said, stay in to the end of the candle. No matter what, stay into the end of the candle. When that candle closes, take your profit. Or it might say, it just gave you 10 pips. Um, whatever you do, don't give it back. And
Right.
and that's totally up to the trader.
Right, and that's exactly right, and that's I think we're saying the same thing from two different vantage points, and what it's doing is it's like I said, it's doing like training wheels for you, and it's training you to go and actually do what you're supposed to do, and sometimes you can be a seasoned trader for years and years and years. It's still good to have training wheels out there. It's still good to have those things in place to help you and to guide you. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and he had taken me up in his airplane, and I'd gone flying with him in his airplane, and I noticed that every light on the dashboard was white. Okay, it was a white light with with buttons on it with black lettering across it. And so I asked what I'm sure he considered to be a silly question, but for me it was a very, very good question. And that was, how come all the lights are white? And he said something very, very astute. And he said, because you don't want yellow lights or red lights. Because the reason why is when you see a yellow light or a red light, that means something has gone catastrophically wrong with what you're doing. And you need to go and do something about it, not in a few minutes, but you need to start reacting now. Otherwise, you're going to have a very, very bad day. And I think that's what the your exit playbook can do for us as well, is that, hey, you should be able to get out of the trades and know when to get out of the trades, and you should be doing it at the right times and pulling the trades and getting out when you're supposed to be getting out. And but the reality is that we're humans and we make mistakes, and just like that pilot who's now made a mistake, now the red light or the yellow light's going on. Well, the exit playbook can be acting like a yellow light or a red light to us, saying, hey, you need to go and react here and do something about this before it becomes a really, really bad day for you.
Yeah, so you're saying white lights mean everything okay, yellow means like warning, and red means you're in trouble. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. You're in deep, as the old expression goes, you're in deep doo doo.
Yeah, okay. No, I wasn't sure if you meant that instead of using yellow or red lights, they only use white lights. And the other thing is, when you mention exit playbook, are you talking about the indicator I wrote or the concept of the exit playbook?
Probably both, but the indicator more, is because I think that's what that trader was speaking about in that email that he had sent you.
Oh, okay.
He was really talking about the indicator, but I think he was really getting out. Okay, I think he was. I want to say this very carefully. I don't want to go in, hurt anybody's feelings or anything, but that trader needs to understand that I can't go and tell him where to go and put those exits in place and where not to put those exits in place. Neither can you. And, maybe if we sat down and over a cup of coffee and looked at his trading strategy and spent some time with him, tried to figure out his trading personality and did all that analysis for him, maybe we could have a rough idea. But I think that wouldn't even be good enough because, there's only so much that I can go and gather from a person. That's where that introspection has to come in place. You need to know who you are, and I've probably said this on 50 videos with you, TRO, and I'm sure I'm sound like a broken record, and I'm sure some people think it's a cop-out answer, but it really isn't. And that is that one of the first things you need to do in terms of trading and becoming profitable, after you figure out what your strategy is, what your trading methods are, where you're going to exit, how much of an account you have, after you get all that stuff done, before you pull the trigger, you really need to go and do some introspection on yourself and try to figure out who you are as a person. What goes in, using the modern language? What triggers you? What causes you to go and do things that maybe you really wish you hadn't done? Okay, and learn what those things are, and then you can go and build into your trading plan and build into your strategy ways to go and combat that so you don't make those mistakes. And I think that, for instance, your exit playbook, that indicator could be a great part of that, because what it can do is that, hey, if I know that I let trades just when if I was up a little bit, and here's it, I'm going to go and talk about myself. If I get up a few pips and then it turns around and goes against me, I have a real hard time getting out of that trade, because I know I was up at one point, and it really makes me mad that I didn't get out in time. And the next thing you know, I've gotten myself on a number of occasions into trouble because I didn't get out where my exit trade book said to get out, because I knew it was going to come back, because I know the market better than the market knows itself, and and it gets yourself into trouble. Whereas if you got that indicator sitting there and it's flashing at you, get out now. In fact, I think you even have one line in there that goes and says, "Only an idiot would be in this trade still," or something like that. And sometimes we need to go and get hit by a 2x4 like that.
Right, right. And the thing is, it's like yesterday when I was trading, the market was doing something, what was happening was I'd hit the trade, and it was taking maybe two or three or four or five ticks before it would get out. I was up like 2 pips on one trade and got out with like 2 points. And or I would get in a trade and I'd see it's going my way, and I would punch out at, 1.5 pips, and I'd get out with like 2.3 pips. And so I
Yeah.
go, okay. So I learned that real quickly. But then I said, you know what? I don't like this. I'm not going to trade. I'm not going to take the risk. It's not worth it. It was,
Right.
it's like I've never seen the pound that, herky jerky. I don't know if it was just the way the market was moving, if my internet connection was lagging or something. But I checked I hit F11 and looked at how fast things were, or what my ping time was, and it was like everything seemed to be within the spectrum of normal, but the way it was moving was anything but.
And sometimes that happens. It's just and that's part of that should be part of your trading plan as well. You got to know that things like that are going to happen. When I look around my office right now, and I look at there are expenses to trading. Okay, the number one expense you have is what? Is your actual trading account. You got to come up with the money to go and have your trading account. You know, here in the days of high leverage, that's not as important as it used to be, but it's still important. The next thing is your computer. Do you have a computer that you can rely upon? Is it a reliable computer, or is it, or is it a ditch box? What I call a ditch box. In other words, it's a machine that you press the keys and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and you really need to go and ditch the box. Or and the other thing is, what's your internet like? Some of the traders out there know that I spent a number of years in Africa, and I was trading while I was in Africa, and it was very, very difficult to trade there where I was living. And the reason why is because the internet was, how can I put it nicely, terrible at best. And
Yeah.
it was just not very, very good. And so I had to go and compensate for that. You know, well, back here in the U.S., well, the other thing I've added is I've got UPS. You've been there and you've experienced it. When I say, okay, we lost the power, and I happen to live, in a part of the state with that. It's kind of rural, and because it's very rural, we have problems with power. We get freak thunderstorms that'll come through.
Yeah, and we just ran out of time, Walter.
You kidding me?
No,
That
I'm
went
not.
way
The
too quick.
fastest 15 minutes in trading is up. So we'll talk more about this on the next one. So it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. Go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.